Hi, my dear children. How are you all? I hope all of you did well in the exams. Today, let us continue forms. You all are familiar with different types of forms like survey forms, application forms, login forms, and we can submit all these forms through online. Let us learn how we can create these forms in HTML. Let us go to the class. Let us learn how to create a form. For that, open the notepad and type the basic HTML code, that is opening tag of HTML and closing tag of HTML. Inside that, we have to type heading tag, opening tag of head, then closing tag of head. Closing tag of head. Inside the heading tag, we have to give the title. Here I am going to create an application form, so I am giving the title as application form. Application form. Closing tag of title. Title. Now let us start the body tag. Opening tag of body and closing tag of body. We must give the form tag inside this opening tag of body and closing tag of body. Here we have to give this part, we have to give the form tag. So here I am going to open the form tag. To create a form, we are using the tag form, F-O-R-M. So first type opening tag of form, and form tag is a paired tag, so we must close that form tag, form. And now inside this opening tag and closing tag of form, whatever controls we are using inside the form, that we must enter here inside the opening tag and closing tag of form here, like button, text box, text area, all these should come inside this form, opening tag of form and closing tag of form. Now let us learn about attributes of form. First attribute we are going to learn about is name attribute, and it is an important attribute of form. So name equal to sign, and inside the double quotes we have to give a value, and be careful that we must give a meaningful value here inside this double quotes. Why? Because we are going to use this name and access this name in the processing page, and by this name we are going to access this form in the scripting page. That is, while we are writing codes or program, we are using this name. So we must give a meaningful name here. FRM, that indicates form, and application. So I am writing application. This is the name of the form. The value of the attribute name is FRM, application. And by using this name, we can access this form in the processing page. Another important attribute of form is action attribute, ACTION, action attribute. The value in the action attribute is the name of the page where we are sending the data. Suppose if I am sending the result to an HTML page called mypage.html, then as the value I should give that HTML page name here inside the double quotes. So mypage.html. Or if I want to collect all the information in this form to my email account, then I should mention that my email ID here. So mail to, you have to mention your email ID here inside that double quotes as the value of the action attribute. So we have learned two attributes of form, that is first one is name and the second one is action attribute. Name attribute is the name of the form and action attribute value is the name of the page to where we are sending all the information in this particular form. And the third attribute we are going to learn is method attribute. Method attribute. Next important attribute is method attribute. So method is equal to double quotes. There are two ways to send data to the form. These are either in a get method or a post method. So we will learn about this later. Now we can learn here, we can give get method or another method is post method. These are the two methods we can use in a form. These three attributes are required in a form. There are other attributes are there, but these three are important attributes in a form. Now let's learn about various controls in the form tag. So form tag is a container for all the form elements. So all the controls should be placed inside the opening tag and closing tag of form. Here we are creating an application form. So first I am going to enter a heading, that is application form. So heading tag, I am giving the heading tag h1 and typing the text as application form, closing the heading tag. Now let's save the file and let's see that in the browser window. So that heading has been appeared here as application form. Now let's, in an application form, first of all we have to accept username. So for that I am creating a paragraph tag P and I am typing the text as username, closing that paragraph tag. Let's save the file and open the browser window. Refresh the window. Let us see that username, that text, whatever we have given inside the paragraph tag, that username, that text has been appeared below the application form heading application form. Since h1 tag is a block level tag, it occupies the full browser window. So automatically, without giving the break tag, the next tag text appeared below the application form heading, below the heading. Now I want to accept a value from the user. That is, user has to enter his name into the text box. So for that, I need to create a text control. To create input text box, the tag used is input and this input tag is an unpaired tag, so we now need to close the input tag. This input tag has an attribute type, type, type attribute, and the value for the type we can give as text. Now let us save the file. Let's just open the browser window, refresh the window. Now what we can see here, the text box for entering the username has been appeared here below the username. Paragraph tag is a block level tag, so it occupies the full browser window. So even without giving the break tag, this text box goes to the next line. Here inside the text box we can enter our name. We can delete the text and enter our name inside the text box. Next attribute we are going to learn is an important attribute, that is name attribute. Name is the one by which we can identify the input control and access that input control into the code and process it. So here I am typing name, attribute name is equal to, then inside that value, whatever value we are giving, that must be a meaningful name. So here we are using this text box for accepting username. So I am giving txt username. Another attribute is id. id is equal to, I am giving the same name value for the id attribute. Now we can access this control by two ways, either by name attribute or by using the id attribute. Next attribute we are going to learn is size attribute. Using the size attribute we can give a value inside the size attribute. Using this we can increase or decrease the size of the text box. Here I am giving the value 50 and save the file. Open the browser window. Now the text box size is this much. And now let us refresh the browser window. Now you can see that from here it has increased to a length of 50. Now let's learn another attribute of input, that is max length. So if I am giving a value for in max length, the text box will not accept more than that. Only 4 characters we can enter into the text box. Let us save the file and open browser window. Let us refresh the browser. Now let us type Becky. So see, only 4 characters entered into that text box. So that's the use of max length. Next attribute we are going to learn is value attribute. So value attribute, we can give a default value by using the value attribute. So inside the double quotes, whatever text we are giving, that will be displayed as the default value of that text box. So if I am typing here Anju, then that will be the default value when we open the browser form. Refresh, then that has been appeared as the default value here in the text box. See, this is the default value. And we can give null value to the text box. If we are not giving any text inside the double quotes, then that will be displayed as a null text box value will be empty. So that is value attribute. Next attribute is placeholder. Placeholder attribute gives just an information to the user what they have to do here. So value, if I am giving the value here inside the placeholder, if I am typing enter your name, that will be displayed in a gray color in the text box. So it will give an information to the user. Save that, open the browser, then refresh the browser. Now you can see that in a gray color that text we have typed in the as the value in the placeholder that has been displayed here in the text box. This is not the value of the text box. Once you enter a name, that will become the value for that particular text box. So if I am enter here Mohan, that will be the value for that text box. It will give, placeholder will give just an information to the user what the user has to do here in this text box. We can make the text box inactive, that means disabled, by using the attribute disabled. So if I give the attribute disable here, after saving, refresh that browser window, now you can see that here the text box became gray color and we can't enter any value to the text box. Inside the text box we can't type. Like this we can make the text box disabled. Now let us learn about password. So to enter password, let us start paragraph, typing paragraph. Now here I am starting the paragraph tag here, but I am not closing the paragraph. Now let us see the difference. And I am starting the typing the text instead of username, here I am typing password. Not closing the paragraph. Now let us give the input control. Input and attribute I am giving as type. Attribute I am giving as type is equal to password. Now here after this input control I am closing the paragraph. Let us see the difference. Save the file. Open that browser. Refresh the browser window. Now you can see that text box appeared here along with the password text, because we close that paragraph tag after the text box. Now inside that password text box we can enter password, and you can see that all that characters will appear as circles, filled circles or asterisks. But the value of that password control is the text whatever we have typed in the text box, but it will display as filled circles or asterisk. For this also we must give name attribute. Meaningful name we must give here. Name. Meaningful name I am giving here. This is password field, so I am giving txt password. Password pwd. ID also we should give. ID is equal to no need to give the same text here for the ID. We can give different ID, but I am giving the same ID here or separate ID. Okay, I'll give a separate ID here. pwd password text txt different ID. We can give either way. Password text. Also we can give max length. Max length is equal to, here I am giving I am giving 10 or 12. 12. Save the file. Open that browser. Refresh that browser window. We can enter maximum 12 characters as the password. The value behind the screen will be the value for this password field. We can see only these bullets, filled circles. We can also give placeholder to the password field. So placeholder is equal to, I am giving here, enter your password. Your password. So that will be displayed in that password text box. And don't give same name to the text boxes. For every control you must give a unique ID and name. No two controls have the same name. Here we have given txt username. Here we have given another name. So that names and IDs for different controls must be different. That names for each control must be unique name, you must give, because we are accessing these controls using this name and ID while we are doing the coding. Let's save the file and open the browser window. Refresh the browser. Now let's see that value, enter your password, that has been appeared here in the password text box. So to give an information to the user, what they have to enter here, information, text has been displayed. Now let's learn to create radio buttons. When we need to create radio button? When user need to select only one answer from multiple choices, we use radio button. Suppose in an application form, we have to get the gender of the applicant. There will be two choices and user has to select only one, either male or female. So in such situations, we have to create radio buttons. Let us see how to create radio button. For that, I am creating a paragraph tag P and I am giving the text gender, closing that paragraph. Now I am typing that input control, input attribute type is equal to. So here for text box, we have given text as the value. For password field, we have given password as the value for type attribute. And for radio button, here we should give radio. Save the file. Open the browser window. Refresh that window. Now what we can see here? We can see gender, what we have given in the paragraph tag. Gender text appeared here. Below that, we got the radio button, a single circle. We should tell the user for what the radio button is meant for. So I should write the text here. So I am writing text here male. It means the radio button meant for male. So let us save the file. Open the browser window. Refresh the browser. Now you can see in front of the radio button, you can see the text male. This radio button is meant for male. Similarly, we can create another radio button for female. So I am copying this and pasting this down. Here I am changing that into female. Save the file. Open the browser. Refresh the browser. Now you can see two radio buttons, one for male and the other for female. We can give name is equal to radio button male, RDB male, RDB short form for radio button male, and ID also we can give ID, same value I am giving for ID. For this also we can give name and ID. So I am copying this one and changing that into female. Now let us save the file, open the browser, refresh the browser. So we have got two radio buttons here. And I need to select only one radio button out of this. If I click on that male, it got selected. Okay, it's working. But if I select female, that male should get deselected. But that's not possible here. Because both are independent radio buttons. So we have to group these two buttons together as a single group. So for that, we have to go to the notepad, and here we have to group these two independent radio buttons to one group. So for that, we have to give same name for these two radio buttons. So here I am giving RDB gender. For this also I am giving RDB gender. And I am changing IDs also. Now we have grouped these two radio buttons as a single group. Now let us save the file, open the browser window, and let us refresh the browser. Now let's try. And I click on the male button. Yes, it's working. Got selected. Now let me check female button. Okay, it's working. So by grouping these two radio buttons, we can create the application form control male and female radio buttons. We can also give value to the radio buttons by using the value attribute. Value is equal to, here I am giving, for male I am giving M, small letter M, and for female I am giving value is equal to small letter F. When the page was loading for the first time, both radio buttons were in the deselected mode. We can make one button to the selected mode by using the checked attribute. So here for the male radio button, I am giving the checked attribute. Let us save the file, open that, refresh that page, web browser, open that web browser. Now you can see that male radio button by default it gets selected. We can change to female or male after that. First time when we are loading the page, that male radio button will be get selected. Now you can see here, if we want to select the radio button, we have to click inside this circle. If we are clicking here on the female, it will not get selected. If we are clicking on this male text, it will not get selected. So we can make that change by using label attribute. Let us learn how to make the label attribute. Let us learn how to use label attribute. So for that, for the easy of use, I am making slight change here for the ID. I am making ID as M, and here for the female I am making the ID as F. For grouping, we need to give same name for the both radio buttons. So I am changing the value of id to m for male button and f for female button. Now let us give label attribute, label control. So for that, here before that text I am adding that label control, label, it's a paired tag. So after that text I am closing that label tag, label, and one of the attribute of label is for which id we are creating label, for which id that we have to mention. We should mention that id here inside the double quotes. Value for, I am giving this value for male radio button, I am creating this label. So I am giving the value for label m. Let us save and let us open that web browser. Let us refresh. Now let us check. If I am clicking on the female button, it will not, that radio button will not get selected. But inside the radio button, if I am clicking, so it gets selected. Here also if I am clicking inside the radio button, then it will get selected. Here suppose I am clicking on this male text, you can see that radio button gets selected, but we didn't give label control to the female radio button, that's why it didn't get selected. Now let's give label control to the female button also. For that, let us minimize this web browser, and here I am copying, no, I am typing here label for is equal to, inside the double quotes I am giving the id for female. What is the id for female? F. So here I am giving F and closing that label. Let us save this and open the web browser. Let us refresh. Now let's try. See, if I am clicking on the female text, then also that radio button will get selected. Now let's learn how to create checkboxes. Before that, we can understand when we need to create checkboxes. In an application, if we want to get more than one value or list of values, or if we want to allow user to make more than one selection, then we need to create checkboxes. For example, in an application, if you want to get the hobbies, there will be lot of options given under the label hobbies. Among these, one applicant might have music as his hobby, and the other one might have painting and music as his hobby. In such cases, we can use checkboxes. Now let's see how to create checkbox. For that, let us type control input and attribute type is equal to inside the double quotes for text box, here we gave text as the value. For password, here we gave password as the value, and for radio buttons, type value we have given radio. Here we can give check box as the value. Check box. Save the file and let's open browser. Refresh the browser. Now you can see a check box here in the same line as of that radio buttons. Since input control is an inline tag, if we want to move this checkbox to the next line, we should give break tag. So let us give break tag here in the radio buttons input control. Here I am giving BR. Let us save and open the browser. Refresh the browser. Now you can see that the check box has moved to the next line. I should mention for what this checkbox is meant for. So just in front of this, I want to put a text so that user can understand this checkbox is meant for something. Here I am going to give type checkbox is this checkbox. I am going to give text as music. Music. Let's save the file. Open the web browser. Refresh the browser. Now you can see that just in front of that checkbox, the text music has appeared. Similarly, we can create other checkboxes also. For that, go to the notepad. Here I am copying this input control. Pasting. Here I am changing that to drawing, and this one painting. Save that. Notepad. Open the browser. Refresh the browser. Now you can see that two more checkboxes got displayed. Drawing, painting. These are the three checkboxes we have created. Now let's give name. Here we can give name to the checkbox. Name attribute, I am typing name is equal to, we can give a meaningful name. This is for hobbies. These checkboxes we are using for hobbies. So chk checkbox, prefix hobby, I am giving hobby. For this also I am grouping these three checkboxes together. So I am copying this name attribute, same name I am giving to the all these three checkboxes. Here also I am copying and pasting. Let us open the browser window, refresh the browser. Here you can see that When I load the page, all the checkboxes were deselected, not checked. I can put one checkbox as selected by default. For that, we can use checked attribute in the input control. So, let us minimize. Here I am selecting this music as checked by default. So, here I am giving checked. Also, I should mention the heading here. So, I am using a paragraph tag, and here I am typing hobbies. Save the file, open the browser, refresh the browser. Now you can see the heading hobbies, under that 3 checkboxes, and by default music get selected. Here we can select more than one options by clicking like this. We can deselect. We can also give value to the checkbox. So for that, here I am giving the attribute value is equal to, inside the double quotes, I am giving first one, I am giving M, and here I am giving the value D, and here I am giving the value as P. Let us save the file. For the checkbox also we can give label, so that we can select the checkbox even by clicking on the text. So for that, first I have to give the ID. ID is equal to, I have already gave ID for M for radio button. So to avoid errors, I am giving MU here for the music, and here I am copying and changing that to D. Here also I am giving P. To give label, here before the text I am starting that label tag, label, and closing that label tag. The attribute for label for I am giving inside the opening tag of label, for is equal to which text. So that ID I have to mention. I am here, I am giving the label for music, so I am giving MU. Let us save the file, open the browser window, refresh that. Now you can see, you can select painting, deselect music. Now let us check. By clicking drawing, no effect, and by clicking music you can see that that checkbox gets selected. Similarly, we can give label for all these 2 checkboxes. Minimize that. We can copy this. Here I am giving, I have to give the value D here, D, copying and changing the ID to P, closing that label tag. Let us save, open the browser window, refresh. Now even by clicking on text painting, we can select the checkbox. Is it clear? Now we are going to learn about an important control in the form, that is selection list. Selection list contain some list of options. We can display selection list in two ways. Either we can display in a drop down box or in a list box. If we display the selection list in a drop down list, user can be able to select only one option. If we display the list in a list box, then user can be able to select more than one option. Selection list is an important control of a form. It is used to get input like date of birth, country, etc. Let's see how to create it. For that, first I am typing here break tag. At the end, I am giving a break tag. And here I am giving the heading inside the paragraph. Here select country. Closing the paragraph. /p. Then I am starting the select attribute, select control. Select control is a paired tag, so I should close this select tag here. Now let's save the file and open the browser. Refresh the web browser. Here we can see that it has created a drop down box here just below the heading enter select country. And you can see here there is nothing inside this drop down list. As I told, selection list is a list of options. We have to add options to this selection list. To add items to the drop down box, we can use option tag. So here I am using the option tag OPTION option, and text I am writing here first India. Then let's see, save the file, open the browser window, refresh the browser window. Now you can see one item has added to the drop down box. Similarly, we can add more than one item to the list, drop down list. So for that I am copying this and pasting. Here I am changing that to Canada. Then this one UK. Save the file, open the web browser, refresh the browser. Now you can see that here 3 more items has been added to the list. We can select any one item here. From here we can select any one item. We can add value to the option tag using value attribute. So minimize this, go to the notepad. Here inside the option tag I am going to type the value attribute. Value is equal to, inside the double quotes I am giving I for India, and here I'm going to give that C for Canada, and here for UK capital U. I'm typing capital U for UK. Save the file. I'm also going to give a name to this selection list, so that inside the opening tag of select control I am going to type name is equal to, here I am giving meaningful name, so SLCT select tag for select tag, country, when I accept the name in the card, whichever value I have selected here in the option, that will value return to the country, to the select name, here to the select country option. So that whichever value selected here from this list, that value will return while we are doing the coding. If I select India, I will return to name. Now let's learn about text area. When we need to create text area, when we need to accept multiple lines from the user, that is, if we want to get the address from the applicant, that time we have to create text area. So let's see how to create text area. So here first I am giving the heading inside the paragraph tag, that is address, and below that the tag for creating text area is text area itself, text area, and text area is a paired tag, so I should close that. I should close that text tag, closing text area tag. Save the file and open the web browser, refresh the web browser. Now you can see here a text area has been created below the heading address, and here we can enter multiple lines. You can enter your name, and you can enter your house number, you can enter house number, then your street, full stop, and enter your state. All like this you can enter multiple lines in text area. Text area has different attributes. First one we are going to discuss about is rows attribute. We can control the height of the text area by using rows attribute. We can mention how many rows by default a text area should show. Here I am giving inside the opening tag of text area, I am giving the attribute rows, ROWS is equal to, I am giving number 10. Let us save and open the browser, refresh the browser. Now you can see that here the size of the text area has been increased. Next attribute we are going to learn about is calls attribute. So calls attribute controls the width of the text area by default. So if I give calls attribute cols, calls, is equal to a value, suppose 40 I am giving, and let us save the file and open the web browser, refresh. Now you can see here that the column of the text area has been increased to 40 columns. Like this, using these rows and calls attributes, we can increase or decrease the size of the text area. We can give name and ID attributes to the text area. Name, I can give name is equal to text area. So I am giving txt area. Here text area for address, and ID I am giving same ID I am giving. So like this we can use different attributes in text area. Is it clear? So now let's move on to the next control. Now let's learn how to submit these data to the processing page. For that, we need to create submit button. To create submit button, inside the input control, we can type input and attribute type. We can type here type is equal to, then we can give the value submit for submitting, submit. So when we click on this submit button, all the data in the form will go to the processing page or the email ID, whatever value we have given to the action attribute. Here in the action attribute, to that page all the data will send. So here I have given not a valid email ID. Let us check how it will work. Let us save the file, open the browser window and refresh. Now you can see that submit button has appeared here, and when we submit, so here I can give some values. Name you can enter here, your name you can enter, that is disabled. So you can enter the password. Gender you can select, hobby, or you can select. All the data's informations will forward to this page we have mentioned. So just try. That page is not valid now, so let us try that submit. So you can see message, your file was not found because that page here, you can see the page we have mentioned in the action attribute is not valid. Let us try creating a new page. For that I am opening a new notepad, and here I am typing the HTML basic codes, HTML, Control C, Control V. Inside that I am creating the body tag, slash, closing body tag. Here I am giving a heading H1. This is the processing page, so I am giving processing page. Here I am making this as capital. Now let's save the file. Save as. In the desktop I am saving the file with the name mypage.html and changing that all to all files. File type as all files. Now saving the file.
Now let us open our file, that is FRM. Our file we can open from the desktop. Here, instead of mail to, I am giving the name of the new page, that is my page.html. So all the data will forward to this particular page, and we have given a heading only. We have given one heading, H1 processing page. So when we click on submit button, all the details will forward to this page. Let us check. Save the file. Let us open our web browser and refresh. Now you can see that when click on that submit button, you can see that all the details goes to that my page.html, and that page heading you can see here. Like this, we can forward all the information to a particular email address or to the server side, or wherever you want to send that information using this submit button.
I can give value to the submit button. Now you can see that submit button is displayed like this, capital letter S and UBMIT, submit. We can change the display of the submit button. For that, let's go to the notepad, and here I can give value. I am giving the value here, value is equal to, I am giving capital letter submit. Save the file. Let's open that browser, refresh the browser. Now you can see here that value on that button is now all in capital letter here.
In the same way, we can create reset button. For what we are using reset button? Reset button is used to set all the values in all the controls to its default value. So first, let us use the input control. Input type is equal to reset. Small reset I am giving reset, and before saving I am going to change the text box attribute to text box disabled attribute. I am going to remove from the control. So now let us save the file. Let's open web browser, and here now let's learn how to create reset button. For what we are using reset button? Reset buttons are used to set all the values in all form controls to its default value. So let us create reset button using the input control. Input type is equal to reset, and before saving I am going to change the value attribute in type text box to disabled. I am going to change. Now let's save the file. Let's open the web browser, refresh the browser. Now you can see here one more button has been added with the name reset. So suppose if we are entering the value here, some value you are entering, Manu, password you are entering, and you are selecting female, and hobbies you are selecting the country to Canada or UK. You are typing that text area, some values you are typing, and if you submit, all these values will go to our processing page, that is my page.html. If you click on this reset button, let's see what will happen. See, all the values set back to its default value. Here in the radio button, we set default value to male. Here music, we default check boxes music, and all other values change to its default values. Is it clear? Now let's learn about methods in form. So we have learned that two ways to send information to the processing page. The attribute used for that is method, and here we can give the value get or post. Here the value is get. Let us save this file and go to the browser. Open the browser. Now refresh the web page. Here we can enter some value. I am entering value, name, username as VIVA, password also I am entering here VIVA, and gender I am selecting as female, and hobbies I am selecting as painting and music also. Country I am selecting Canada. Here I am entering the address in the address bar, that is some I am entering some simply some letters here I am entering, and when I submit this form details, this data, let us see what will happen. So I submitted that form, and here you can see that all the values we have given in the form controls has been displayed here in the address bar. In the address bar, the name, I have given the name, you can see here. Here you can see that names, whatever names I have given, that is username Viva, and text password, that also displayed here, and gender we have given female and F is displayed here. Check hobby, music, and then which the next one is music and painting, country, everything is displayed in the address bar. So using this get method is not secure while we are sending data. So instead we can use post method. So let us minimize this, and we can change the value in method attribute to post. Save the file and open the web browser. Refresh. Now let's see. Here we can enter value Viva, and password I am here entering VIVA, female, drawing I am selecting only drawing, UK, and address I am typing here some letters only, and when I submit, you can check the address bar. Here we can't see the details, only that web page name. So the post method is a secure method. That's the difference between get method and post method. Now let's learn about method attribute in form tag. So we have learned that using two ways we can send the information to the processing page. That's by using post method or by using get method. So if we are giving get method here, let's see what will happen. Before that, I am changing value. Okay, that's correct. So let us save the file and let us open the web browser. Refresh. Now let's enter some value here. I am entering value Viva. Password also I am giving as VIVA Viva, and gender I am selecting as female. Hobby I am selecting drawing and music. Country I am selecting as UK, and here I am giving some address, some letters I am typing only some letters. Now let's submit this details to the processing page. Let's see what will happen. So when I click submit button, you can see that if we are using this get method, all the informations we have given in the form will be displayed here in the address bar. So you can see here that your name, username, your password here VIVA, and your gender, like that all the details, whatever details we have filled in the form, that these details will be displayed in the address bar. So get method is not a secure method. Let us see what will happen if we are giving post method. So for that I am minimizing this and I am changing this get to post. Save the file, open the web browser. Now enter some values, refresh, enter values here, Viva, again Viva, password also I am entering VIVA, gender male itself, hobby, painting, only one hobby, and country I am selecting as UK, and address I am typing some letters here, and let us submit this form. So I am submitting this. When I submit the submit button, click the submit button, you can see it will direct to the processing page, and in the address bar that details will not display, is not displaying here in the address bar. So post method is the secure method. That's the difference between get method and post method. So that's all about form creation. You can practice exercise number 13 and 14 from the text. Also there are a lot of activities, lab activities in page number 144. That also you can try at home. Read the textbook and have a nice day. Thank you.